132 for 7 is when the rain came down for the second game consecutively for Australia during their innings, and now, as we were just about to get confirmed news of what would be a slightly shortened game with India having to chase around 137 in 19 overs, that's not the case because there's more rain at the MCG. So we still have a first innings to talk about on ESPNcricinfo Matchday with Murali Karthik and Sean Tate. Right, a much better day for India with the ball first up. Regardless of what happens now, we'll come to that later, but good day for India with the ball.
Yeah, I have to say that. Extremely good day. The way the seamers bowled, Khalil bowled well today. It was a comeback for him as well. Although he did go for a few runs in the last over, which was expected, and sometimes you can't help it. In T20 cricket, you sometimes have to, not sometimes, every time you have to leave your ego at home or ego in the dressing room. That's the format. But yeah, well done from India. Really well done after the last game.
That having been said, and again, we don't know the confirmed news as far as the chase goes, Sean Tate, but at 6 for 70, usually then in T20 games, someone smashes a few and you get to 130. There is something in this pitch which will be livened up with the moisture that it's now got with the rain. 130 it's not one way. It's not one way from here still.
Well, I think they ended up doing pretty well from where they were. They were obviously really struggling, and I thought Ben McDermott probably played although he obviously didn't score very quickly, he played a pretty good knock. He sort of hung around and sort of given himself a chance to hit, and he had that last over. He missed out on some runs there maybe. Curtails played well at the end. I just think early on in the innings, they struggled to sum up the conditions, the Australians. The ball was shooting through. They were trying to smack everything rather than just play it around a bit. So they sort of missed out at the start there, but they recovered reasonably well, I suppose.
Yeah, were they guilty of going too hard too early?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. It just looked like, they didn't realise what the conditions were. The Indians summed them up really quickly and bowled well. The Aussies missed it there for the first part of their.
I did find it to be curious that Jasprit Bumrah didn't get the new ball, but it turns out that most of the moves Virat Kohli tried today paid off.
Yeah, I can understand why he was trying, because Khalil does try and swing the ball, and you want to do that against somebody like Finch, who does struggle against the ball coming back into him. How many times have we seen him getting LBW? And also, Darcy's shot, we have seen him every now and then fish outside the off stump. So the idea was right, because nowadays, as Tatey would agree with me, this new Kookaburra ball doesn't swing for too long. So whatever there is, you try and exploit it within the first 2-3 overs. And Bumrah possibly also in his head that he can be used against the other bowlers. And to be very honest, I would have still given Jasprit Bumrah at least one over.
Okay, fine. Now let's take your questions and comments. Put them through the comment section if you're watching on Facebook Live. We've already got some comments and questions coming through from Twitter, so I'm going to take those first up. A little bit of criticism for Darcy Short from Ritik Sharma. Why is Darcy Short getting so many goes? It's been quite a few failures. Has he lived up to the potential that everyone saw in him from last year's Big Bash? Sean Tate, is time running out for Darcy Short?
You'd have to say it probably is at the moment. I mean, it was, as an Australian follower, it's a little bit frustrating watching him at the moment. He seems a bit out of touch. Again today, Cardi's right, fishing outside the off stump. Just doesn't seem sure about what he's trying to do. And it's very easy in the Big Bash to smash guys around the park, but when you're playing international cricket against, Bumrah and Bhuvi and these guys, it's quite difficult moving the ball. I think he just seems to struggle against the world's best at the moment.
Okay, one more for Sean Tate, and this one's on Khalil Ahmed. What are your makings on Khalil Ahmed, the first that you've seen of him, Tatey?
I reckon he looks all right. Obviously, he took a bit of tap last game, but I mean, for Indian supporters, it's not a bad sign. He runs in, he's got a nice action at left arm, so it's good variety for their team. He seems like he's fairly confident in what he's doing. Obviously, very new to the international scene, but I think he's a good product.
All right, one from Manoj Karthik for Murali Karthik, and this is on Krunal Pandya. How to use Krunal Pandya most effectively when you need to get 4 overs out of him. And I'd like to take this to a longer chat on what you make of Krunal Pandya, the left-arm spinner.
Look, the Krunal Pandya, which we have seen in India during the IPL, and also whatever limited access we had during the West Indies series, whatever I've known of him is that he does vary his pace, he does change his lengths, lines, angles and stuff like that. But what we saw in the first game, and even today, every now and then, was that he lacked that control, he lacked that, what should I say, possibly a bit of, he was a bit clueless every now and then. I don't know if that's the right word or if it's a harsh word, because he can change his pace. He's not a big spinner of the ball. He's not the conventional left-arm spin. And that's why I say that he's more of a batsman who can bowl. But he does play around with his pace, with his angles, to make up for whatever he lacks. But in the last 2 games in Australia, especially in Australia, you can't bowl too quick because it's going to come on very nicely onto the bat. You have to beat them with pace. You know that you've got a big boundary where you can place the fielders. So that's where I felt that in these last 2 games, I haven't seen the Krunal Pandya which we have seen during the IPL because he bowls on tight grounds. Wankhede is not an easy place to bowl. Like Chinnaswamy, it's a very good surface and you get hit for more sixes than boundaries. So he's very innovative and crafty over there. That's what you want to see.
Purely on bowling talent, can he graduate into a 50-over bowler too?
Yeah, of course, yes. Of course, yes. Look, he's a very handy cricketer to have. He's quite a mature cricketer for somebody who's not played that much of cricket. The way he handles the pressure, handles situations, he's mighty impressive. And definitely, he's one option for India even in 50-over cricket.
All right, this one from Shashank Shekhar Jha. Is MS Dhoni still the best wicket-keeping option for India? And I like this question because, yes, we were raising questions whether India should try out other keeper batsmen, but purely as a glovesman. And he points out Rishabh Pant's missed opportunities early on for Dasi short and also a few byes, a little sloppy from Rishabh Pant. Let's take your assessment first up. Pant, the keeper.
Look, work in progress. I am not sure about, because what happens is it's a demanding world, international cricket is. If you are a very good batsman, they'll see it for a while. But if your keeping is not up to mark, up to scratch, and you miss a few chances, and that to key chances, then they start riding on your performance, and people start talking about that more and put you under pressure. So that is something which he definitely has to work on. He's a test match keeper now at the moment. With Riddhiman Saha, I don't know what his fate is going to be once he's fit, because he's by far the best gloveman I've seen.
I mean, it's very likely that Rishabh Pant will start the first test with the gloves. And the kind of chance that went down today is the kind you do not want going down in a test match. The keeper needs to go low to his left. It's one of those in-between slip and keeper, and you want the keeper to gobble that up as a fast bowler.
Well, the keeper has to go because he's the man with the mitts. He has to go for it. What's surprising, and from a bowler's point of view, what you want to see with a keeper is that he gives you a lot of confidence, because if you find an edge and if it's not going to be taken, and especially with his movements, and I'm not a keeper, but I've watched some brilliant keepers standing at slip, is that they are quick in judging which side the ball is going to go, and then the movement is also very quick. With Rishabh Pant, you feel as if he's always slightly late on the ball, so that's where he has to dive, whereas others would have moved to their side and caught it. So these are small things. I think a keeper will be able to explain that better.
I remember Deep saying that he's certainly not conventional, as in the conventional.
It's not about conventional, but look, Ridley Jacobs wasn't conventional.
Of course, MS Dhoni isn't conventional.
MS Dhoni isn't conventional. They've got their own way, but they don't miss chances. It's not about looking good. It's about being effective. It's about catching everything which comes your way. That's what you want.
Very well. We've got some more questions from our Facebook Live. So let's throw up the questions that you guys have been posting and continue to do that so I can put them to Karthik and Sean Tate. This is Rakesh Dikshit on Facebook. Why did Kohli keep Bhuvi's over knowing that rain is about? Okay. It's only the 1 over left, but would you understand that? Teddy, I'll go to you for that one. The use of Kohli to keep Bhuvi over last time as well. The rain came down and his best 2 bowlers didn't get to finish their quota.
Yeah, I don't think Virat's got a crystal ball handy and he can look into the future and tell if it is going to rain or you're not sure if it's going to rain. And you got to keep your best bowlers, in over for the end as well, because the Australian side could have got away there, and if they were facing a part-timer type thing. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be honest, personally.
Right. Let's pick another one that's coming in from our Facebook Live and put the questions and comments in while we also await further news from the MCG to confirm the revised score. Prabhanjan Verma on Facebook, on the evidence on ground, is Rohit a better captain than Virat in limited overs cricket? Right. The fireworks go off now. Murli Karthik, from what you have witnessed and observed?
Look, there's no point in comparing people, but yet, when you just talk about Rohit Sharma, the captain per se, he is a very, very good captain. But the thing is, at the moment, Virat Kohli is at the helm of affairs. He's been there for a while and he's the designated captain, so there's no point in comparing him for the moment.
I think it's still fun, but yeah, I get your point that you should not compare. But Teddy, from what you've seen as a fast bowler, does he strike you as a fast bowler's captain, one that reads the game and knows exactly where to bring his pacers on, the kind of fields he sets? From whatever you've seen of Virat Kohli, I don't know how much you've seen of Rohit Sharma, the captain. You have done a lot of work in the IPL with us, but can you make a qualitative analysis between the two?
Obviously, Virat's he's a good leader for India, but the only thing I will say is if you're talking IPL, if you ask, the supporters there, they're asking questions to you guys, you've got to think about the IPL and ask yourself who's the best IPL captain, and I think it's Rohit Sharma.
All right, simple as that. We continue
We're not
to
in
get
IPL, but still.
We continue to get questions. Yes, and of course, Rohit Sharma has won a couple of IPLs. Virat Kohli still in search for a first ever title with RCB. So that's one way of looking at it. What else do we need? There's another question coming on from Ashraful Islam. Is Hardik Pandya, well, I could say, is he currently being missed, and will he be missed going further in this series? Karthik?
Look, Hardik Pandya is a cricketer who gives you both facets of the game, but it's just that in Test match cricket, the volume of his bowling is not enough. In one days when he started off, he wasn't finishing his quota of 10 for a long time. Now he started doing that, so he adds value as the sheer all-rounder who can come, hit the big shots, give you 10 overs, be electric on the field. But for him to warrant a place in the Test match, his batting and bowling has to be of any value,
and by that Indian series didn't do him any favors.
Yeah, and by that I mean, in English conditions, if you're not bowling enough, and if the spinners are bowling ahead of you, then possibly you need to either pick an extra batsman or an extra bowler.
But as a limited overs member, he certainly has a lot more.
I think he adds value to every format, but it's just that sometimes when you buy a car, you need to drive it rather than keeping it in the garage. So if you're picking a player, he has to bowl enough. He has to bowl enough in the game for him to warrant a place as an all-rounder, because all-rounder is a tag which you give to people who can either fit in the team as a bowler or as a batsman. It's not about doing bits and pieces, it's about being there. And as a cricketer of skill and talent, I think he's got it in copious amounts.
All right, just hearing, if you're following our ball-by-ball commentary too, that it has stopped raining and the covers are coming off, so we are keeping our fingers crossed for a quick start, and we'll let you know the revised target as soon as it's confirmed. There's another question that we can take on this halftime chat of ours on ESPNcricinfo Matchday. Ashish Shaw. Should KL Rahul be opening? I'm a big fan of KL Rahul opening. I don't know where you stand on that, Karthik. You can take that one.
Look, I'm a fan of KL Rahul per se, but given the team he's playing right now, Shikhar and Rohit are very good at the top, and that's where it is at the moment, unless and until one of them has a sheer bad time or a run of or a string of failures. I don't think you would want to change that.
Okay, let's look ahead now to whatever this chases, and if it has stopped raining, I can assume the target will be somewhere between 7 and over for about 18-19 overs. So let's assume that's what we've got to play with, Sean Tate. There's still something in this. Nathan Coulter-Nile and Jason Behrendorff with the new ball. A couple of early wickets, and we might just have one of those low-scoring, interesting ones. Does this give you the feeling that we might be in for one of those?
I mean, I hope it's going to be a good game. The only problem is we saw last match, the Australians, after it rained, they struggled to grip the ball. The paces, they were bowling a few full tosses. Obviously, it's going to be tough for the spinners as well. So that's my only concern is being able to control the ball, because it's going to get wet as it goes through the outfield. So that'll be my main concern there. But yeah, look, you never know. I think the MCG, a 120 score has been defended here before. So you never know.
All right, Karthik, this should be a regulation chase if it's about 7-8 and over?
No, I don't think so. It'll be a regulation chase, because even if you look at this surface, it's not a typical Aussie surface where you just know that it's coming onto the bat and you hit it. Even the Aussie batsman found it slightly difficult to time the ball, so it's not going to be a regulation chase.
And I'm just getting multiple, this is all unconfirmed, but with the time that we've lost, we could very well be in for a further truncated game, but could be around 12 to 13 overs, and then the target would be closer to 100. So a shorter game, this is the other thing with when you apply DLS to T20s, often the criticism from cricketing circles is it doesn't quite hold the same kind of water when you reduce a 50 over game, which is rain affected. So if it's a 100 odd sort of chase in 12, 13 overs, that makes it harder for India?
I don't think so. Depends on the number of overs.
Yeah.
Depends on the number of overs. Then you know that you have to go for it. But with regards to the what is that? The ball tracker.
Yeah.
That is one thing which I've never understood and don't agree with. And secondly, this DLS has always gone over my head.
Okay, so I won't bother putting it for you. Thank you, Murli Karthik. Thank you, Sean Tate. Ball by ball updates will take care of all your needs when it comes to what exactly is the final score of the revised tag. Let's hope we get some cricket and we get a good game of cricket. Download the ESPNcricinfo mobile app because this series is on the line, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about at least as much cricket as we can at the end of it.